I want to ask you a question here. How do you define your success? And what are some of the achievements that you're most proud of?
I'm most proud of growing as a photographer to get to master level with books and whatnot. But then that's the business way. So as a mother, as a wife and whatnot, all of it, there's like so much that I'm proud of.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, my goodness, and we pass it along. Tune in and listen to us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we give you our story with the Lively Art of Conversation. Great, beautiful Sunday morning. If you don't know who I am, I'm your host, Dr. Rodney Duckett, with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. I'm your host here. That's right, your host. If you don't know by now, I was giving this show. Really, I was. I was giving this show based off of you. Everywhere I go, people want to know, when are you going to do a show? When are you going to write a book? When are you going to do a podcast? Well, it's here. I'm doing a show. And this is not my first time to radio. I was actually doing radio in Virginia Beach years ago. But we're not going to talk about the past. We're going to talk about the present right now and what's actually happening right now. You're watching the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we earn, and we pass it along. It's all about our story. Our story is what we're here to do today. So everybody asked me the question, why the Lively Art of Conversation? Well, it's simple. My mentor, my good friend, my buddy, Reverend Roscoe Harrison, was the one that had the Focus Show along with Mr. Horace Grace. And one of the things he said on the Focus Show is like, hi, I'm Roscoe Harrison, and you're watching the Focus Show where we practice the lively art of conversation. I told Roscoe, if I was ever in a position, can I use that? If I need a platform, if I have a platform, can I use the lively art of conversation? He says, you sure may do that. So we honor Roscoe Harrison with this show, The Lively Art of Conversation. May you rest in heaven, brother. I appreciate all the experience and knowledge you've given me throughout the years. So this show would not be a show if it wasn't for what? Our underwriters. So at this time, I would like to introduce you to our underwriters. We'll be right back.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto De Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto De Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto De Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach at gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. All right, you're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn, and you pass it along. I am your host, Dr. Rodney Duckett. For you guys that don't know who I am a transplant from Tulsa, Oklahoma, by way of the military. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a.k.a. Black Wall Street, a.k.a. if you don't know anything else, you know the Gap Band, because it's probably on your playlist right now. And the Gap Band gives us the secret hidden code of what Black Wall Street is: Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. So again, that's where I come from. I spent 12 years in the military. I'm a combat veteran, and I work in the healthcare industry. I've been a provider in the healthcare industry, it seemed like forever. That is my job. That's what they pay me to do. But I'm here to do my work, which is that of being a community facilitator. And one of the things that I have created in the community is a nonprofit organization that stands for Impact Outreach, Intelligent Minds, Proven and Applying Commitment. We focus on three things in the community. Number one, we focus on the youth. Number two, we focus on the family. Number three, we focus on the community at large. One of the things that we like to do is take the youth as the pebble in the pond and toss it in the ocean for the ripple effect to come back and touch society. So we try to meet one, teach one, make sure everyone knows each other, and make sure that we're able to have the interconnectedness as a community that we need. So people that know me know I'm a conversationalist. Yes. I'm going to tell this running joke because I'm an old man to tell this running joke. If you see me in the grocery store, there's two things that I can guarantee you: that the conversation is going to be very long, and whatever food you have in your hand, you're going to have to take it back if it's cold. That's right. So never talk to me with butter in your hand, because it will be melted. That's the conversation that I like to have, but they're very rich conversations with that. If any of you guys are looking to be an underwriter for this show, please hit me up with the Lively Art of Conversation. That is livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. Just put in there, I'm interested in ads and underwriting. We will send you a package deal, and then we will get you properly put on the show. The money that you give us goes back to my nonprofit. I don't need this money to live off of. I actually have a job, believe it or not. So, but if you're interested in doing that, that is fine. Also, my underwriters do wonderful work that's there. The person that I'm going to introduce to you today is actually one of my own underwriters. She's a good friend, and you guys will probably love her. But we have also So Natural Catering, which is an underwriter. We have New Image Media, You Better Watch Your Tone. We got Tri-County Miss Juneteenth, and we got Price Realty Group. That's our underwriters that's here. So if you guys want to connect with any of those, please reach out to me. If you're watching this right now on YouTube or any one of the social media platforms, if you need a videographer, I always use two, and the one that's filming right now is New Image Media. She is absolutely awesome. So before I get started with anything, one of the things that I like to do is start off with a powerful quote. And I think this quote is very befitting for the guests that I have on here today. So the word that we're going to talk about is capture. All right? Capture those precious moments. And the quote is, little joys matter. That's right. Little joys matter. Don't just remember the big things, catch the little happy moments too. This means that paying attention to the small things, the happy things that happen every day. We have to pay attention to these small things, because sometimes these small things are the things that just puts us in the place that we need to be. Question. I hope you have your journal open. Is your journal open? Don't talk to me unless you have a journal, okay? Here's a question, thought-provoking question for you guys to work on. What small happy things happened to you last week that you can remember? What are some of the small little things that happened last week that you can remember? Write those things down, because they actually matter. Now, let's talk about my guests. this person right here is all about capturing moments. And when I mean capturing moments, I am talking about capturing those moments, those precious little moments by way of just a click, a snap. She catches you when you least expect it. She catches that smile. She catches that enthusiasm. She catches that sad face. And sometimes she just want to get you dressed up and dolled out so you can look a certain way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to you my guest for our show, and she is a Spotlight Mother of the Month as well, too, Miss Hatice Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Hatice Lance, thank you for being a part of the Lively Art of Conversation. I've been knowing you probably, let me go back. Let me work it in my head. Probably close to 16 years, I'm going to say. I met you when you first had your shop that was in Harker Heights. You had like a little small suite, and that was the first time I actually met you. I don't know if that's when you got started with photography, but I remember you were doing photography at that time. And later on, we would bump into each other in the community. And then I needed some headshots maybe a couple of years ago, and I reached out to you, and I had the experience of the lifetime. So I'm a byproduct of her headshot. If you see my headshots right now online, majority of those headshots are from her. Trust me. I mean, I made a down payment on the car to get those headshots. But no, she's actually a good woman. Miss Hatice, tell me a little bit about yourself, ma'am.
Hello. Thank you for having me, first of all. And what is there to tell about me? I don't like to talk about myself much, but here I am taking the challenge. While I do photography, I fell in love with photography when I was a teenager. And I'm coming from a blue-collar family, so we didn't have no allowance. And I had back then the desire to own a camera as a teenager. It's not that easy when you don't have no allowance, you don't have no job and whatnot. So I was like, okay. But at that time, my nana asked me if I could come and help her cleaning offices. And I was like, sure do. And my first check, I had 50 marks, German marks. And I spent it on a little pocket flash camera with the cubes on top and then one film. And I was the happiest gal all over the place. So that was my beginning of the journey to become a photographer. Didn't know that I was going to go that route. It was just like I wanted to just capture moments, seeing other people having those beautiful photographs. Well, my teacher one day came in class with slides, and he had a slideshow about how he climbed a mountain, took pictures. It was just breathtaking. And I was like, I want to have a camera. I want to do this. So that's why I was like, I need a camera. But then for me, it was my siblings, my family. I was like, I did take pictures of subjects, but it was more of like the interaction, the moments. Like I remember I took the baby pictures of my baby sister. She's going to be 40.
Wow.
I took her daughter's baby pictures. So it's like already like we are like on generation, on the fourth generation, I'm going to take pictures. Like if I go to Germany to see my nephew's son, they waiting for me to take his pictures. Go figure. So,
wow. So you are like a family heirloom. So like you're like literally a family heirloom. Like you are creating a tradition within your family, and that is awesome. I remember you when you first got started, and I remember your package deals, and I was amazed because I think I've been to your house one time other than that. I don't know if it was for photography or if it was just a visit or something like that. And then when I finally went to see your studio in your home, I was just amazed. And it wasn't the fact that the studio was any different than any other studio. It was the experience of the studio. When she says block out 4 hours, don't let her fool you. This woman can talk. So we sat down and we talked about life. We talked about spirituality. We talked about growing up. We laughed, we cried, and everything. She catches you in those moments where like she just paints a picture for you, and she does such a phenomenal job. So So your first experience, like you said, was getting that little cube flash on that camera that shaped your total perspective of what it was to take a picture. So what was the moment, the shifting point to make you say, I'm going to do this as a profession. I'm going to put all my cards on the table and I'm going to make this thing work for me and my family?
Well, I think I enjoyed the freedom to create however I wanted to go for the session for like friends and family. And sometimes it was just like I would use like glasses or whatnot, like we had at home, and buy fruits and just experiment. It was just like I enjoyed the freedom to create for myself. And then I fell in love more and more. But I was a decorator for 10 plus years. I'm a certified decorator. I enjoyed that. But then somehow the business that I was working for, I was the lead decorator, but then it was budget cuts. It was the budget cuts, the creativeness went down, the drainage kind of like, it was like, oh, we don't have this, we can't do that. Now I'm coming from a background that knows how to put wallpaper, mixing colors, wood connections, using equipment and all that stuff. So my job was like really like busy and good busy, creative busy. And with the job cuts, I felt like I'm falling into kind of depression because I couldn't live all that bubbles up, that idea that comes to you out of nowhere, and then you don't know where to put it, what to do with it. And then with photography, I could just shift that energy into photography, use it, and do sessions for my nieces and my nephews and whatnot. And I loved it. I loved the experience. I loved the whole look. And that was for me like, let's go this route more and more. So it was an outlet for me, not knowing that I will fall more and more into this corner or in love with it after having our kids. So when I had my daughter, I was a stay-home mom, but I knew always like, I don't want to be just a stay-home mom. So I need to be busy. I need to be creative. So I would stay busy. So with hubby being military, I had to like maneuver and shift around with his schedule. But I always was busy. I always took pictures overseas. I had like Turkish, the Turkish community, the German community, the American community. I was busy. And then also like your own child is like you snap pictures every day. We had so many pictures of her and then our son later on. That's when I shifted. I knew that I cannot like go back into my job because I had to be full time to go back, and I couldn't do that with hubby being like military and in Germany, the system is a bit different. You don't have like a daycare where you drop off your child right after birth. You have to wait at least 3 years. So my focus was then all into photography, which was perfect because I had like on post like sports teams. We had like Turkish weddings. We had German weddings. We had like baby pictures. Like I was all over the place. Today I'm a bit more in my niche where I'm like more happy to create, but this is like where everything took off and where it's now today. The studio at home, yes, we had like a little storefront studio where we met the first time, and I remember that. I love that place, but back then it's funny. I loved the photography part, but the business part was missing. Now coming here, when I came here, I was kind of like from being busy to being not existent.
Okay.
So when you come from overseas, all of a sudden everything was a question mark. Your driver's license was not accepted. I had a European driver's license. I was good for 6 months, but you had to like go get it done. Your school education. I had 13 years of school and had finished my apprenticeship and everything. So everything was nullified kind of thing. I couldn't even open like a bank account without your husband's like signature. So when all that came, I was kind of like frustrated, and I was like, I left everything behind, like my salary, my job and everything. So I'm starting here over. And, and the big key for me was I had to learn to, first of all, come back to myself and then reinvent myself. So it was refocus, regain myself, and then reinvent, and then start over. It was a big challenge. It was one of the biggest challenges in my life. Wow. I have to say. It was not easy. It was a struggle. Because when you're married to military, they have their schedule. 4 a.m., they don't come home like 9-to-5 jobs. So while you are a mother and make sure home front is always taken care of and whatnot, you have to find time and energy to come back to who you are. And it took me a while. Moving here in 2008, I think in like 2010, I started to kind of like, okay, I'm at a place where I can like now, I've found myself and then pushed through where I had to go through. Then 2011, and we had the house built, and 6 months later, it was like he had to leave for Alaska and deployment and whatnot. And then after he left, I was like, it's just you and God. Like, it's just, like, there's nobody else. Like, you need to get this going. You need to figure things out and whatnot. So we had then the business, the kids, and the home and whatnot. And I think by him leaving, I was even more pushed out of my comfort zone. Wow. And that's when I realized the comfort zone is not where you grow. When somebody kicks you.
I love that.
Yeah. When somebody kicks you out of your comfort zone, there's like do or die. What is it going to be? So I had really these moments where when the kids were asleep, like, what is it going to be? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Like, now it's the time for you to make the move. And because I didn't have no other choice. So I had to appear strong for the kids, even if I was frustrated or sometimes really because he was gone for 3 years and whatnot. So, but then there's the studio. I had the three, like my niece was with us at that time, and my sister moved from Alabama into our home. And so I had like the business, the home, the kids, but I like juggled around and made it happen. And then I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get the GED. And when I appeared at the class, the teacher came to me. She was like, Mrs. Lance, what do you need the GED? You are above GED. And I was like, I do understand. I have translated certified papers of my school. But people here, they're like, we don't know. I don't, like, kind of like they didn't know what to do with it. So I was like, let me just go get a GED at least, which I did. Within 6 months, I had that also. So I was on kind of like on the streak of keep going and keep growing. And I fell in love with myself again. After coming here, I felt like a nobody. I was not existent, no credit score. Everything was like, well, I'm like, do people not exist without a credit score? Like, what is going on? But, so I was like, I need to go back to be independent. I hated the term dependent that military throws around constantly. I was like, how did I get here? How am I going to get out of this whole situation? Because I want to be independent. Like, I love to be independent. Yes, I love my husband and we are a team, but I need to be my own person. Yeah. I never I was proud of my husband's accomplishment, but I wanted my own accomplishments for my kids, because I don't want my kids to say Daddy was the one that all did that and you just were a stay-home mom. So that was important.
This is a Mother's Day spotlight right here. I said we're doing Mother's Day month. Small business spotlight. You're learning right now. I mean, she told you her life, where she comes from. Germany by way of Turkish origins, and then also getting to the United States. She said, is one of my favorite quotes that I created, massive challenges equals massive growths. That's something you need to put in your journal right now. So if you're going through something right now, you're going to grow on the other end. Anytime there's a storm, there's growth that happens afterwards. In any crisis, after the crisis, people have to grow to get through the crisis. You're watching The Lively Art of Conversation, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch It Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchitone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better Watch It Tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach@gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. We're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn, and you pass it along. If you are just now tuning in, you missed a whole lot, because I'm telling you, my homegirl, she went far left. She came in talking about, I'm nervous. And then she just pretty much gave us a whole dossier of her life. I mean, she is that bad. I call her a bad girl. I can't say the other word because this is radio and it's Sunday, and then people have me off the air, but she is a bad girl. She is one of my photographers that I've been using time and time again. She's awesome. She talked about her life, just growing up. Her passion in the world of capturing those images for us started when she was very, very young. And she talked about her not necessarily being independent of her husband when he was in the military, but she wanted her independence. And she didn't divorce him. She just wanted to show her children, her daughter, that she can be more than just someone that's dependent upon someone. So, Miss Hatice, I'm glad to have you back here again with us. And let's talk about, what have you earned or gained along the way with all your experiences, and what are some of the key milestones of growth in your business that you have seen, and what are some of the impacts that has impacted your life, your family's life, and also just impacting our community which we live in?
The biggest impact made on my business was deciding to have a mentor. Yeah, so when I was at a point where I'm like, okay, we had the storefront, and I couldn't sell a photo package for $50. Literally, I struggled. I was like, okay, what is it? Because my work people love, and the service I give and whatnot. And I'm like, why can I not? Like, what is going on? I need to find out. And then we broke down the studio after 1 year contract, and I was like, I need to move back into the house, and I need to grow. I need to readjust and refocus and find out what's going on here. And then I signed up with a mentor that is well known in the photography community all over the world. And when we had the like one-on-one and whatnot, and they were like, okay, girlfriend, you have a hobby. It's not a business. And I was like, oh my God. So she was like, you need to change your pricing. You need to change like a lot of things. So I was like, okay, I threw myself into growing. I knew that with the new pricing, with the new whole packages and whatnot we had, I was going to lose all my clients probably, which I took. Like I was fine with that because I was like, while I take that hit of financial not being independent, I was like, I'm gonna find me a job, and I did. I worked for Target for almost like 3 years to have a paycheck coming in while I grow. And I had my work awarded and had it judged by international judges. Made my associate, made my master's. And now I'm kind of like, where I know now where I was failing to sell. It was like when we do photography, I don't sell necessarily only pictures. I sell a service. I sell a connection. I sell giving them a safe space. So the studio we have created, I'm very proud of, is a safe space. When my clients are mostly women in their 40s, 50s. When they come to me, some come because a counselor suggested to come and have an experience with a portrait photographer. And because they left a marriage that was not happy or was kind of like, domestic violence or whatnot. And when they come to me and I'm like, this is not about for you to be perfect. This is about you coming, like having fun, like dress up, throw the dresses around, like go in the dressing room, pick whatever you want, just be silly. And I had the most beautiful experiences with women coming to the studio and coming as kind of like a shy person and leaving like a diva. And I saw this so many times. It's just mind-blowing that we women do that to ourselves, I have to say. I had my own aha moment with my husband when he came back and after the 3 years and whatnot, and we had to find a way how to like maneuver around. And I was like, I always step back and helped you to achieve your accomplishments. And I'm like here behind the curtain. And then he said something that was my biggest aha moment in life. He said, I never asked you to step behind the curtain. I was like, oh my God. So as a mother and woman, we just want to make sure everybody's covered. Everybody has what they need. Yes. And let me step back and I can't wait. But it can't. When we put ourselves on hold, we get unhappy. We get not satisfied. We start feeling not seen, not heard, not accomplishing anything. So when he said that, I realized, I was like, you know what? I'll be darned. You're right. He said it's like, and I just looked at him and I couldn't even say anything. I was like, I need to come back where I put myself and need to take my space, need to take my spot. Because when people say, like, you have changed, heck yeah, we need to change. Change is good, positive change. Because look at us, like, do we look like 20 years ago? We change daily. Everything changes around us, and we need to change a lot of things in our lives to make it. So you have to grow, refocus, and keep growing. And I realized that I had a lot of work to do. That's when I changed the business style and everything. And we got trained in every aspect. And then the mentor was like, just be prepared that you will have probably someone coming up and ask you a question like, how do you justify your pricing? And sure enough, it didn't take a month. And this lady came in. She was she was working for the newspaper, and she wanted to have a senior session for her son. And we sat down, we had a consultation, and then she was like, how do you justify your prices? And I was prepared. And I was like, how? Because of the work that I put in, the level of knowledge I bring to the table, the service I give, the products you leave with, everything from beginning to the end is high end. And I'm like proud of it because that's what I want you to have. I don't want you to have jobs,
yes,
you know?
Yes.
So I want you to have something that you can hold on to and cherish, and it's not like something randomly, like kind of like you can have everywhere. So the style I shoot, the service, the feeling, everything, the studio wardrobe. Sometimes I create headpieces or whatnot, you know, whatever the client has in mind. I'm like, just spill the beans. What is it you want? How do you want to be photographed? How do you want to feel? We can make it all happen. You just need to tell me what, and I'll put it together for you. And that's it.
And I'll say, because I can speak, and you can say I'm promoting you, but I've used your services before, and you've helped me out along the way in my community events. I just had some people that I highly respect that came down, and they're still talking about, sir, if you're listening, Mr. James Daltridge, your package is coming to you because he wants those headshots. He can't wait to get those headshots because he wants to put them up at the museum. And Miss Dr. Virginia Allen, which is my beautiful 94-year-old sweetheart, she loved her picture. Matter of fact, I didn't tell you, DMPs of Color is using that picture for an event that they have up, the ones with the wings on, all the Black Angel wings. I'm telling you, they absolutely love that. They was like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and they really mean that. And she's so happy to be a part. She enjoyed her experience with you. She's very photogenic. Don't let 94 stop you. Know, she is photogenic, and she loved her experience that you gave her. It was a very good experience. So I want to ask you a question here. How do you define your success, and what are some of the achievements that you're most proud of?
I'm most proud of growing as a photographer to get to master level with books and whatnot. But then that's the business way. So as a mother, as a wife and whatnot, all of it, there's like so much that I'm proud of. But business wise, it's like I did work in Target just to get my business where it needed to be. I endured that time, even if I had like struggled from time to time where I was like, oh my God, I can't do this no more. But it was all worth it. I'm proud that I did that to get to the point, like whatever, like I knew where I wanted to be, and I had to find a way how to get there. And I found a solution, and I stick to it until I was ready to drop it. And when I was ready to drop, I built my clientele and whatnot. And now I'm proud to have like clients that value my work, love my work, keep coming back to me, and see them happy. Like it's just like it's so much more than just like pictures. It's just giving them something to cherish, to share. And sometimes we lose loved ones, so it's like always they can come back and like and say like, you know, do you still have these pictures? And it's just like for me, like to give them that and to be there for them when they need something. That's absolutely like a good accomplishment for me. What else?
What moments are you proud of the most? Is that one of the moments that you're proud of the most? So. Because they use the slogan, you get what you pay for. And I've had some headshots along the way that I wish I wouldn't have given that money, because I walked away from someone that said something like, are you crazy? Why would I pay that much for a picture? But as I got a little bit older, I realized you're paying for quality of work that's representation of you, to bring out unique qualities. A picture speaks 1,000 words about someone. So, and if it's going to speak 1,000 words, you should pay $1,000 for it, because sometimes that's all you have. And I look at pictures sometimes. I remember a headshot that was taken of someone that I highly respect that was just passed away, and it was still to this day it resonated to me, because he was the one that says, you know what, this is the headshot everybody will see on my last day on this earth when they put me in the ground, and this is what they will remember. And I still remember that headshot because I had to take a picture of that headshot. It captured the very essence of that gentleman that was being passed Mr. Maxwell, someone that I really, truly appreciate that's grown up in my life. So if it was good enough for him to pay $1,000 or $2,000, whatever he paid for those packages, is definitely good enough for anybody else, because that's one of the things that you will take with you for the rest of your life. So let's talk about this. We got mothers that's out there. And you said some things. You said some very powerful things. And this is a message I'd love to hear you pass along. Your husband, which I know Mr. Lance is, which is a cool dude, and he's very laid back and monotone and all that different stuff. But he said that he never asked you to. And there's some young lady out there, some mother out there that is doing what all mothers do, take care of the children, take care of the husband, take care of the boyfriend, whatever it is, because they feel they have to. What is your advice to them if they're stuck, if they're absolutely stuck and they want to be able to be like you and have the freedom to live their life and their dream?
Well, I would say definitely while you serve your family and your loved ones, make sure you don't underserve yourself. Underserving yourself is just like, it will lead to like having no peace with yourself, and then in your home, in your marriage or partnership. I learned that the hard way. But, it's like when nobody passed that knowledge on to you, then you kind of like maneuver around, figure things out, and you just have those aha moments. And that goes for your personal life and business life. And another impact, TED Talk. That's the TED Talk of Brené Brown. Okay. She was speaking on to the man in the arena. It was Theodore Roosevelt's poem.
Okay.
When I watched her TED Talk the first time, I was mind blown. And I was like, oh my God, that was another aha moment, not only for the business, but for life, because you will always have critiques. You always have people like critiquing you for the way you live, your choices you made, the business ways and whatnot. But then in the poem, it says like, the critiques that want to critique sitting on the seat, but not with you in the arena. I would suggest everybody to listen to that TED Talk. It changed my life, the way I looked at everything, like business-wise and family-wise. And it was just so eye-opening. And I was like, really, people critique you, but sitting in the seats, not with you in the arena, getting your face like torn up and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, you have no room in my life to critique me, my work, or my lifestyle, because you're not there. You sit there chilling, you don't know my story. So I'm like, now I feel like, okay, when people come and have something to critique or say something that is, okay, you're not in my shoes. You didn't live my life. You didn't like change countries. Like, we all have our journey. So I'm not critiquing your journey. So you cannot come for me.
And there's a thing out there called constructive and destructive criticism. I've met people that give destructive criticism because a lot of times they're jealous with the possibility of you doing better than them. And we know those people. We see them all the time. And sometimes we also partake in conversations with them. You've got to be careful with the energy you bring around you. But I am all about constructive criticism. If somebody's willing to help me build myself from ground level, to take the advice, give me great advice, to let me stack is perfect. What I tell the kids, the boys that I work with, one of the biggest things that I tell them is, what I have done is created a ceiling so you can start your absolute floor on. You can actually build your foundation on my ceiling, meaning that you don't have to build anymore because I'm going to give you everything that I possibly got to give you that's inside of me. So my ceiling becomes your floor, and I tell them that you're 90% better than everybody else and 10% as good as the rest. So I love that about you, and I love the message that you just gave. I want to say this before we transition here. Branding, photography. How important is the branding and photography for people?
Branding is very important. Just think of like the products we use daily. And, everything gets branded. So you know already what is quality, what is good, what is not so good. So branding is kind of like when I have clients come to me, I always ask, who's your audience? Who do you need to talk to through your images? Because they are still pictures, and you're not speaking, you're not engaging like personally, but it's on paper. Like it's a pose, it's the facial expression and the lighting and whatnot. So when I meet my clients and I sit down with them and I'm like asking them, who are your clients? Like, who's your audience? Who you want to speak to? What are you doing? So, professionally. So we make a little bit of a roadmap to make sure we're branding the right way and to the right audience and who they want to be seen as, because even the smallest pose, like when we make a fist, I always tell no fist, because
you do say that.
So no fists. Make sure you have soft hands, and then a soft smile. It doesn't have to be a big smile, but it's those little things make a huge difference in a portraiture. So with that, branding is very important. Branding is your cover book, the cover of your book. Like when people look at it, they're gonna look at it and judge you by that. Like, oh yeah, that person looks is approachable, or I would like to find out more about this person and maybe work with that person. So if you have somebody that is mean mugging and having a fist, and I'm like, okay, no, I guess I past that one. So kind of like that. Branding is very important. So for your success.
So I have one for you. The advent of AI and photography generator. What do you get from AI as compared to walking into your studio? So AI charges you X amount of dollars to give you a professional headshot that sometimes don't necessarily look like you, but it's a professional headshot so they can submit, as compared to walking into your studio and spending, I think I spent 3 hours, but it was the best 3 hours of my life that I spent with you. What's the difference? How do we rate those two?
Wait, I don't know if I'm the right person to put money on AI, but AI is been around. AI is not going anywhere. We just have to be use it responsibly. When I use AI, I don't use AI really to create anything, because as you know, I love to create the images in camera 90%, if not more.
Yes.
I change things around until I have what I want to have on my display. Do I use AI? When I use in Photoshop background extension, stuff like that, the simple stuff I do, like every photographer we did before. So it's kind of now more enhanced, more easier, or taking things out or whatnot is super good. But when it comes to, I had a request a few days ago from a lady. She wanted I want to be around giraffes, lions, and whatnot. And I'm like, that's so not my style. I don't do all that AI editing and stuff and whatnot. So I was like, it's not my thing. It's not my thing, and I don't know how much you want to put money on it. I want to stay true to my style. I know what I want to do. Would I judge other photographers? Absolutely not, because we all have what we love to do. So some people are more in technical part and want to do, creating fantasy and whatnot and add AI to it. I'm more of what I see is what I want to capture. And if I enhance it with a little bit here and there, that's one thing, but completely having put stuff together is not so my thing. I will try maybe here and there. I'm getting frustrated. I already tried and I was like, oh my God, this is not going anywhere where I want to be. But I stick to what I know and will grow with AI a little bit. But pricing wise, I don't know. Everybody makes their own pricing. When people come to me and say X, Y, and Z charges less, then I'm always I don't know. Because I don't go by who is doing what. I know what I'm doing, and I know what my time is worth and my work is worth. I go by that.
Yes.
Other than that, I cannot tell you, and I have no problem to see people walking out and saying like that you're out of my budget, which is fine. Not everybody's your client, and not everybody's photographer as well.
That's true.
So I learned as well when I had my mentors to be mindful of that and not to take it personal. It's not personal. It's just a budget thing. We all do. Like the things that I love to spend money on is not necessarily the things that my client want to spend the money on. So, you see people like saying like, I don't want to spend that money. But then when something new comes out like the iPhone or whatnot, they stand in line for hours.
Oh, they do.
But it's always what you want to spend on. What do you want to spend your money on? What do you value? So if somebody values the photography or the portraits or the work I do, then they don't have a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
I had like clients that spent, like my highest paying client was almost $8,000 was one session. Go figure, like I couldn't sell $50 package. So that was like for me like enough to understand how much I grew. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
And it's just crazy. But it's like you have to put in the work. There's no free lunches. You put in the work. You need to get your education and all that, the whistles, the blows and whistles together to get to that point. Mm-hmm. And then people will not have a problem, It's like before I was too shy to ask for the money. And now it's like people like, where do I pay?
Yes.
So it's like, and I don't feel ashamed or kind of like receiving money. I had to learn that too. Like, how you receive money, not to feel like an imposter, not to feel like you're doing something wrong. So you do the work and you get properly paid for that. And you feel like a professional. That's when I started like feeling like a professional, not only by having the titles and doing the work and giving the work, but also getting paid. That was important for me.
Yes. You heard it right here. Capturing those precious memories.
This is Hatice De Lance Photography, and you are listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
We're back with The Lively Art of Conversation. We have been up here capturing precious memories. This has been a phenomenal show. We've talked a lot about the importance of. She said this one thing, and it really. Understanding your own value, understanding your value, the value for yourself, and understanding what you pay for is what you get. So if you pay for something that's 10 cents, it's going to be 10 cents as compared to $100. There's value in the things that you actually pay for and capturing those precious memories. I would like to have Mrs. Hatice to leave us with a Hatice philosophy as we begin to close out the show. Give me one of those Hatice philosophies. So,
I feel like there's so many. So let's go. Never feel too old to grow. Refocus.
Wow.
And reinvent yourself. A lot of times you hear people like, "Oh, you're in your 50s." I'm in my 50s, and I plan to keep growing, keep reinventing, keep doing, and keep focusing regardless of who has what to say. I do not care. Every day is a blessing. And I tell my kids, when they're like, we're going to do this. And I'm like, tomorrow is not promised. Do what you have on your list that you want to do. Make a map how to get there. What is the plan? How you're going to achieve it. Keep pushing yourself. Get out the comfort zone. In a comfort zone, you will not grow. You will just get grumpy.
Won't grow, get grumpy. I like that.
Yeah, but that's what's important. I think when we are happy with ourselves, then we are happy with our surrounding, with our partners, with our children. We feel like accomplished. We feel seen. We feel heard. Society has changed, thankfully, because at first it was like when you were 20, when you were 30, you were kind of, but then you 40, 50, it's like, oh my God. But it's not. The generation has changed. Like the 40 and 50s does not look anything like it was before. Plus they bring stuff to the table where you're like, wow, Like, wow, like when you see like 99 years old and 100 years old and still going for their masters, and you're like, my God, are you serious? And I love it. And every time a woman wins, I love it because we have to work so much harder than men. We have to push so much harder. And it's not easy for women to stand up for themselves and say, I want this. And regardless of who's in my corner and who's going to help and not, I'm just going to keep going. So we want to teach this also our children, especially our daughters, to focus and keep growing. And regardless if you're married or not, it's important to be independent.
Independent, not dependent, but independent. Miss Hatice, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. She is one of our photographers for the Lively Art of Conversation. So if you're coming on my show, we have a very special package for you. So just reach out to me if you're one of the people that's coming on the show, livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. This is Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. It's been a great show today. I've learned a lot. It's all about independence, not being dependent upon anything. It's a message that we're going to take. And again, she is the one that captures those precious moments. So if you're in need for a photographer, I highly recommend just reach out and talk to her. If you're here on this show, how does people reach out to you? If somebody wants to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you?
You will find us on Google. We have a website. We have Instagram, Facebook. So definitely, if you punch in Las Fotos de Lance Photography, it will pop up. And you can pick whatever platform you decide to contact us. I do complimentary consultations just to meet and greet. No strings attached. I love to meet people. I love to hear what they, what they have in mind to be photographed. And sometimes they walk out and it's not a commitment, but then they come back, So I'm always here. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready, she's ready. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass it along. Join us for next week's show as we bring in Miss Ramona Clark. She's not just a mother. She's not just a community facilitator. Miss Ramona Clark, she is the founder of the Tri-County Miss Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant. So join us next week so you can get more information how to get your daughters and your kids involved with something positive in the community. So right now, thank you, peace and blessings to everybody that's there. And once again, thanks to our guest, Miss Hatice.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.